For those of you in a rush to put this together, I left a link in the description below so you can skip ahead. You're welcome. Hey guys, Harold here. So I just bought this Craftsman table. It was really hard to find. I could only find it at Orchard Supply. It's not even in Sears. It was hard to find online, except Amazon, but I wanted it now. So I went to Orchard Supply, and they didn't even have it at 3 of them. I had to call 3 different stores and finally found it. So I couldn't find a good video on YouTube on how to put this together because I'm too lazy to read the manual. But it looks like I'm gonna have to anyways because there wasn't anything good. So I decided to record this, record myself putting it together, maybe do a quick review on it, and help you guys out. The selling point for me for this table was the fact that it's good for beginners, somebody who's just getting into routing, and the router on this that comes with this table is actually apparently really good, and let me show it to you guys real quick. This is the router that came with the table. I mean, it just feels really meaty, well built. It's like some kind of cast iron or something. It feels really great. It's 1 3/4 horsepower, which is more than enough power that I need. I just do small projects and stuff. You can buy attachments for it. You can change this out so it can be put on a punch or I don't know what that's called. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's get back to this. We're gonna put the table together first. If I were to do that again, I would have gone short, long, because when I tried to put the screws through, they didn't fit through the hole and I had to loosen them, and it was a big hassle. So that'll ensure that the screws fit through the holes and you don't have to do any loosening and tightening. But either way, you should just be careful and make sure that all the screws, all the holes are lined up. Okay, so to attach the legs, all you need first is these 4 small pan head screws. Try not to get them confused with these long pan head screws. So we're gonna unscrew them. And careful not to lose all the pieces. You're going to take off 2 of the washers that are on the screw and leave 1 washer. There's 4 holes on the table. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to put the short pan head through the outermost hole. Next, we're going to grab the small plain washer and put it through. Then we're going to grab the spring washer and put that through. Last, we're going to put the bolt. Now to tighten it, we're going to need a screwdriver on this side, and we're going to use the included wrench to hold down the bolt. Okay, you want to leave it snug, but not too tight. Don't over tighten it. Alright, once that's done, you're going to do the same exact thing with these long pan head screws. Remember, you're leaving 1 washer on, and the other 2 washers you're putting on after. First the plain washer, then the spring washer, and last the nut. Now the reason you don't want to over tighten these, especially on this part, is because it's plastic, and it can be really tempting to over tighten it because it's not really the greatest build quality. It's not going to stay tight for very long, and that's kind of what you're getting out of the price. That's one of the cons, is that you're not getting a very amazing table. Okay, so we're about halfway done. All we have to do is attach the fence. This is the back of the fence. This is where you attach the dust extraction. So what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew this completely, and what you're left with is another long bolt. And we're going to take this bolt out. Oh, don't drop it. We're going to put the bolt underneath and feed it through the washer, and then reattach the knob. Alright, reattaching the knob. You don't need extra equipment because the bolt is a square on the bottom. So to adjust it, and you're going to have to line it up with the numbers on one side. Then you would line it up here on the right side, and that's how you get your measurements. Now, I don't imagine that's the most accurate system in the world, but again, the price. Alright, now on to attaching the feather boards. And in case you were curious, a feather board is a safety mechanism. So what happens is you can put it up to about here, and you can feed your wood through, and it'll prevent kickback, and it's just a really safe thing to have. You can also attach it to the table, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So for this part, you're going to need your long screws finally, and you're going to feed it through the back. You use a knob, these red knobs, and screw it in, and you're going to do it to both sides. Almost forgot, you're going to need a washer before you put that in. Okay, so now that's attached, and you can adjust the height of it however you like. And just to demonstrate real quick, this is what it does. So you push that down a little bit, just enough pressure just to keep your work nice and steady. And what happens is it lets you push your work through, but in case there's any kickback, it doesn't let you push it back the other way because of these feathers here. It's a really good safety feature, and I really highly suggest you use it, especially if you're a beginner, because I've had kickback before. I've had a piece of wood strike me in the stomach, and it wasn't pretty. So definitely do it. Okay, so in order to attach the feather board to the table, you would actually have to remove the fence. And in removing the fence, you would have to remove this last screw over here that's attached to the table that we did earlier, and then you would attach the feather board here. You would put it here. You would put the screw going up this way, put a washer, then put one of the red knobs, and then you would do the same thing to this side right here in this hole. And if you ask me, I don't even understand how that works. I don't see the purpose of this, because I wouldn't even be able to use the fence. But there it is, in case you needed to know. On the other hand, you could just attach it to the other side right here. There are two other holes right here, so you can attach the feather board. I would just do that. Alright, save the best for last. So we got the router here. It came with these two accessory pieces, in case you were wondering what they were. They're for the router. So what it's for, it's all dust collection. So it already has one attached to one side that you can remove. I'll leave it on there for now. But it also has these two plastic pieces that came separate. And I just showed you that you can just attach it right here, and you screw it in with these two small silver screws that it came with. Just screw it in right there. Okay, I'm going to show you a few quick things about the router before I hook it up to the bottom, in case you wanted to adjust the height or make adjustments, or even just learn how to use it before you hook it up. That would probably be pretty wise. So first, this disengages right here. This will disengage the base. You can see there's a little crack there. It tightens with this latch. So that untightens it, and as you can see, it's still not coming off. That's because you still need to push this button and hold it, and now it's disengaged. And so you can hold this button, and it's a two-handed thing, so I can't show you right now. You hold this button, you pull out the router, and you can put it into a different base, like a plunger base. That's what I was trying to say earlier, a plunger base. That, yeah, you can just change the router. I know there's some routers out there that don't allow you to do that, but this one does, and that's really incredible because of the price. It's just great. You can make micro adjustments by turning this knob. It moves the base very slowly. I think this makes an even smaller adjustment, but I could be wrong. But anyways, this micro adjustments, unlatch it. In case you want to make a big adjustment, you would hold this button and pull it all the way up if you wanted to have it all the way up, or just take it off completely. Wanted to unlock the key here, you obviously wouldn't be able to just turn this. You use the same trusty wrench, put it through here, and hold the button at the same time and twist. And that's how you tighten bits or loosen bits. Obviously you wouldn't be able to do any of that with these covers on there. You know, when you put a bit on there, you want to make sure it's the one you want. You don't want to be changing between bits too much, because then it's going to waste a lot of time. It's a lot of hassle. So just make sure you have the right bit in there. Okay, we're at the last stretch, and now to attach the router to the table, you just need to unscrew all these screws. You're basically taking off this base plate from here. Alright, taking this off. Oh, nice. Okay. Put this down here. Make sure you don't lose your screws, the silver ones. Put them in a bag that came with the router, with all your other accessories, so you don't lose it. So now we're using the longer black flathead screws, the tapered bottom, to attach the router. Okay, now we're going to hook up the router to the router table. And it can be really confusing because there's so many holes, and it's just kind of weird. So all we're looking at is 1, 2, 3. If you can see it, it kind of looks like an arrow pointing towards you, or towards me in this case. We're going to put our router here, and it looks like this with the clamp on this side and the adjustment on this side. And all we're going to do is we're going to tilt it this way, just a little bit. And now what happens is we've got 1, 2, and 3. So we're using those 3 holes, and again, an arrow pointing towards me, this direction. These other holes you're going to use a hex wrench. It's going to go down this hole, and it's going to go exactly into this hole right here. And this is where you're going to make the adjustment with a hex wrench that does not come with the kit. So I don't even have one, so I can't even show you, and I'm gonna have to buy one now. But it's just to make the height adjustment. Okay, so that was probably the trickiest part of all this, lining up the 3 holes. So remember not to tighten this too much, because it's just particle board. It's just particle board. It's not built to last. All right. Okay, and finally we have our rings, and this is just based off of what size bit you're going to use. You just pop this in there, and there we have it. Then you just have to plug this in. And now you just have to plug this in, find an outlet for it. This is the switch. Here's the key, and you're good to go. And this is the hole I was telling you about earlier, where you can put the hex key in and make adjustments to the height. But obviously you can just use your hand still. You just put your hand underneath, being careful not to stick your hand anywhere it's not supposed to go. But you can still make adjustments without the hex key. It's not absolutely necessary. I would say that this was definitely worth it. This was definitely a good buy. It's not the best build in the world, but it's pretty good. It's pretty sturdy. I think it's gonna last me a while. And if you take care of it, it will last you a while as well. So just take care of it. Don't be too rough on the screws. Don't be too rough on it. Be gentle, and it should last you a while. I'm just gonna go over the specs real quick. So quick overview, it just comes with these 2 feather boards. You could attach this one to the table. I wasn't able to figure out exactly how to do that. It has this safety mechanism here. It has a dust collection port here. Has a extension right here. The extension, by the way, also closes the dust collection hole here. Out like that. It's not that much, just like maybe like 2 inches or 1.5 inches. Has a power button with a key for safety. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes, it comes with a this thingamajig. You can make a miter edge. You can adjust the angle of this, and you can adjust the fence depth on this side. Of course, biggest part of this, it comes with a router. Craftsman table. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and this review. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give a like, and I'll see you guys around.